What's going on, y'all? Chuck Nunface here. Today I've got a cool one to kind of go over with y'all. This is the Rockstead Knives Shin. So Rockstead is made in Japan. These are all 100% made in Japan. Using some different types of materials and kind of some different manufacturing techniques. I'm not going to go get into a whole lot of the whole manufacturing process and what they do, but I'll just kind of give you an overview and you know what my thoughts are on the knife. And you know, I've had this for about a month now and I've been carrying it a lot. If you follow me on Instagram at Chuck_Nunface, you'll see me post it quite a bit. So just kind of go over some basics on it right now. It is about a 3.5-inch blade on this guy right here. So 1, 2, 3 1/2 with about a 3.25-inch cutting edge, or really basically a 3.5-inch cutting edge as well, because if you're going to start it right there, so if we're talking about 3.5 inches of blade and we're doing it at that top shoulder of the handle, we're going to go all the way about 3.5 inches of cutting edge as well. I think it's about 8.5 inches overall length. 8.25 inches overall length, and it comes in at a fairly and surprisingly hefty 5.3 ounces, so it is a little bit heftier than you would think. The scales are made of not just a regular aluminum, but duraluminum, so it's an alloy of aluminum and copper as well, probably about 4 or 5% copper, and it does have that all-natural ray skin inlay right there. But yeah, it's completely smooth on the other side. So, kind of take a look at some things here. Right now, we'll do some size comparisons. There is with the Spyderco Stretch 2. So it's very similar in overall size as the Stretch 2. It's going to be a little bigger than, you know, of course, than the Spyderco Native 5, naturally. Let's see here. We have something a little different that I don't usually put out there, but there's the Shirogorov F95. It's going to be a little smaller than the F95 from Shirogorov, but it's kind of in that kind of same area. The blade on the Shirogorov is going to be a little bit longer. There is the Chris Reeve Knives Large Sabenza, so very similar, maybe a little smaller in blade and handle than the Large Sabenza, but very similar in overall size to the Large Sabenza. And then, of course, we will do the Emerson Knives A100, sporting that green, factory green micarta right there. Pretty similar in overall size to that as well. So I think you kind of get the point of what we're looking at here. So, you know, it does feel pretty substantial in hand, and that is a lot due to the fact that it's that duraluminum. It is not an integral, but it does almost appear to be an integral, but it is formed and is very little of a bit of a gap or a seam right there that you can barely even see or feel. So it is hand fitted and hand formed very well. It does have a tab lock in there as well, so that's going to be a stainless steel insert and tab lock system right there. And it's got an interesting pivot system as well. Now, I'm not going to take this apart. You know, technically, if you take it apart, it will void their warranty. But it does have an interesting pivot setup in there, and if you do a little Google search online, you can see how they kind of got it set up, because as you can see, there is no external pivot screw or anything like that. It's just held together by these 3 body screws. It's got a stainless steel clip, and it is kind of milled in right there, so everything is just kind of naturally melded, very organic looking overall. So yeah, just kind of, that's kind of the overview right there. Now, they come in these boxes here, and the box is very light. I forget what it's actually called, but it's very similar to, say, balsa wood. But apparently it has anti-corrosion properties that go along with it. So it comes in that box, and each knife will come with a spec sheet on it as well. So this is, well, we can see that there. This is the YXR-7 steel. So this is not, they have 2 steel choices. They either have ZDP or YXR-7, all right? And so the ZDP are gonna be uncoated or anything else, and the YXR are gonna have that very fine mirror polished DLC coating on there. The Rockwell hardness on this is gonna be 64.9, so that is very hard. very hard on that. Each knife is going to be different, and they Rockwell test it. It's not giving you a range or anything like that. So most knives will give you a range of 59 to 61, and you have this variance throughout the batch. This one, it's going to be, each knife is going to be individually tested. And when you look, you can see where, hold on, I have to find it, where they actually do the Rockwell testing on the blade. Hold on, I'll have to find, oh yeah, it's right there. So let me make sure I can get that on camera. That little divot right there is where they do the Rockwell testing. And so I like that as well, because they're doing it where the cutting edge is actually at. They're not doing it way back here, where buried by the hole or on the spine or anything like that. They're doing it, they're testing the blade where if that was ground, that would still be considered cutting edge right there. So, I certainly appreciate that. In case you haven't noticed, it is a fingerprint magnet, an absolute fingerprint magnet. Now, these are very well made. They're all done, fitted. A lot of hand craftsmanship goes into each and every Rockstead knife. That mirror polishing does not come easy. That's all going to be done by hand. So the way these blades are ground too, if you notice, it's got one bevel and there is no secondary bevel. It goes all the way down to a 0 degree edge right there. So it's just what you want to consider. I believe they call it Hanzakuri. It's essentially, it's like a Scandi grind where everything will just go right down. There's no secondary bevel along the cutting edge. It's all just one continuous bevel right there. And so the edge is going to be very durable. It's convex as well. So, or an apple seed pattern, something like that. And it starts at a 30 degree and it goes to a 24 degree towards the tip to provide some strength and stability in the tip. There's videos online that Rockstead does with this particular steel. They'll do with the YXR-7. He'll be smacking into bamboo and everything else, and then he'll be cutting rope and cutting paper smoothly and all that. So this one is valued more for its toughness, and then the ZDP knives, they're going to be valued more for their edge holding ability at a really high hardness. So there's a lot of things that go into these knives that really kind of make them the premium knife that they are. Now, when it comes to sharpening this is something that really you're not going to want to take on yourself. Rockstead does offer a lifetime sharpening and warranty service. As long as you just have to ship it back to Japan, you got to pay postage both ways. That's kind of the only cost to you, but they'll take care of any sort of shipping or maintenance issue, or not shipping, sharpening or maintenance issues that you want. However, they do show you, the way that they recommend doing, go ahead and doing their knife maintenance is just make a strop. They recommend using, just a piece of old denim jeans and affixing it to a board, and then using a polishing compound on that board itself. Now, they use what's called Pical or Pickle or whatever it is, and it's something that you really can't find here in the States. I mean, you can special order it, but it's probably more expensive than it needs to be. I used a combination of Flitz, just stainless steel polish, and I think I used some Mother's aluminum mag wheel polish as well in this. Nothing too crazy, nothing too fancy. And you're just going to want to lightly, just a few passes on the strop to just maintain your edge. And that's all I do. And I do it pretty much every, if I carry my knife that day and I've used it a few times, I'll go ahead and I'll just do it at night. They just say really just doing 3 passes. Now, if you're a sharpener and you have stuff at your house, you've probably got things that are even better to use than this. You've got balsa wood strops with diamond emulsions and everything else. That's probably even better. I have a lot of that stuff too, but I just decided that I wanted to kind of go with what the manufacturer's recommendation was and just kind of do it this way. And I've done it that way, and it's maintained the edge very well. Now, I haven't put this thing through, I've used it and I've carried it, but I haven't abused it or done any sort of heavy, hard use stuff with it. But yeah, I'm very satisfied with it. It does a great job, and it should, if I can get, I probably won't be able to do this on camera, of course, but maybe I can get it to kind of, ow, poke myself, but kind of do that paper towel test. You know, it maintains the edge pretty well, I would say. As far as ultimate sharpness, you know, that really does describe, and, you know, people say, oh, it's scary sharp. You watch YouTube reviewers and all that. They say, oh, it's scary sharp, scary sharp. Yeah, it's sharp, but it won't stay that sharp for very long. It is a very impressive factory edge. Not too much I've seen coming out of factory is going to be better than that. I have done better edges, sharper edges at home, and if you sharpen your knives regularly, you probably have as well. But if you maintain it properly and you use that strop, I mean, you will maintain a very sharp edge on it as well. You know, I wouldn't say that it's the most impressive thing that I've ever seen, but it should be able to maintain a very sharp, functional edge for a long time if you just maintain it. You know, other than that, you know, the one real downside I can find on this knife is the scales are very slick. Overall, they are very slick. In fact, the first day I got it, I almost dropped it. I really did almost drop it. And so I kind of decided, even though I'm not a lanyard guy, I kind of decided I better do something, you know, in order to take it out of my pocket. So when I take it out of my pocket, this lanyard right here and this bead, my hand will just kind of grip onto that. It'll act as a little bit of extra security. So I'm removing it from my pocket and go ahead and deploy the knife that way. So yeah, I really did. I almost dropped it the first day that I had it, and that would have made me very upset if I had done something like that. And damaged the tip or done something, you know, I wouldn't have appreciated that very much. But yeah, the scales, something to be noted, the scales are pretty slick. There's kind of no way around that. You know, that would be something that I would say is a negative as far as this overall knife goes. So yeah, I decided to go ahead and just put a lanyard on that. I got this from Z&C Metalworks. They have an Etsy shop. I think it was like $17, something like that. But you want to go check them out maybe. And yeah, if you have anything like that. But yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. I think I've covered pretty much everything I need to cover as far as this knife goes. I'm sure I missed something, but go ahead, and if you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave a comment below. Go ahead and smash that like button if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. I certainly would appreciate that if you click that subscribe button. And yeah, like just give me a follow on Instagram as well, at Chuck_Nunface. And yeah, let me know what you think. What you think of Rockstead knives, what your experience has been. Is it something that you're interested in picking up? Not interested in picking up? You know, what are your overall thoughts as far as these knives go? Hope to hear from y'all soon. Go ahead and do all of those things, and I will talk to y'all next time. Peace.